This is Boxing Tickets NA in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're back with Clark Kent, Colm Murphy. How are you, mate?
All good yourself, Stevie?
It's all fantastic. Keeping busy, obviously, just after the third Belfast show a year now. My third show of the year now, so probably in the come down again, sort of now want more action. Probably a bit like yourself, you obviously had your debut in the 4th September in Europa. Are you still sort of not, it's like an adrenaline rush where you have your debut and it's like, I remember speaking to you, I think it was a week after, and you're going, just want to get back in there, just want another one. Is it sort of coming down now, you're going, right now I just have to train and get ready again for another fight and just sort of take as it comes? How have you found that adjustment from your first fight?
From my first fight, well, I haven't really had a break because not many people notice, but me and Mark, we were actually going to try and get me a fight over in Slovakia for 2 weeks after September 4th, and I was ready, I was going to take it. So I was straight back in, me and Dee were back in, working on a game plan, but because of COVID regulations, that didn't go ahead. But Mark, true to his word about keeping me busy, went straight in, got November 14th ready for us. So I've been enjoying everything, training as hard as I could, and now I'm ready, still ready for November 14th. I've lost no momentum.
Definitely, I think your nickname's probably wrong in boxing. You probably, they probably class you more as a Duracell bunny because you just seem to have loads of energy. Like, obviously, when I first interviewed you, I didn't know that the crack with the coffee. You just seem to be a gym freak. You just want to keep training, keep busy, and everything else. And probably it's a bad thing for opponents to know. But obviously, that you could probably go straight to a 10-rounder or 12-rounder. You're that fit. Does that sort of play a good factor? And obviously, the fact that you're keeping yourself in really good shape, it just means if a fight opportunity comes up, Mark can get you straight out. Yeah,
well, ever since COVID, I've learned that it's not just about keeping in shape physically. I've been working a lot on the mental aspects too, to drill myself, practicing meditation and stuff like that to keep myself grounded, and that's helped reinforce the physical side. And the nickname side, the Duracell buddy, that was, we were thinking about doing that. I said that to Mark, but he was like, nah, he wanted to call me the professor because of all the uni work, but I wasn't too fussed on that.
Definitely, obviously we know obviously the meaning behind your posh boy nickname and stuff like that as well, and it's something that has a meaning to you rather than sort of just the fact that, because let's face it, when you get the world title fights, or obviously you want to have a name that's going to be relevant sort of to it rather than Duracell, but people's going, who is this guy, But obviously looking back on your debut, what was your thoughts on your performance?
Yeah, I thought I was very good, to be fair. I've got to give myself credit where it's due, and I've got to give Dee credit where it's due. Like, I've only been working with Dee for a few months, and I said what I said I was going to do, go in and show a new Colm Murphy. I barely got hit. I think that was one of the first fights in ages where I didn't leave without black or blue. And I can tell you, I hurt my opponent a few times, definitely. I should have put it on a bit more, but didn't want the occasion to get to me. Came out in the 6th round and then showed old me a wee bit, went towards Owen. But Jacob was the tricky enough fight for your first professional fight. He made Campbell Hatton look terrible, and I looked class, I looked slick against him, so that's going to really progress me. And now I was also fighting two weight group classes above my usual weight. I wasn't complaining all the cushion there, we got a fat blower, but I think, because I was able to hurt him, and he was tough. He had a good few wins on his record, and compared to his losses, so that's going to set me up.
And it was a 6-rounder as well, so you're not just doing the old conventional route of obviously just going with a 4-round fight, straight into a 6-round fight. And I'd say probably as the rounds sort of came in more in the fight, you were like, it was so comfortable for you. As I sort of said before we started filming here, I was sort of going, when you're walking to the ring, and obviously the like a techno sort of beat, and I'm going, Dee's going to have a tough night here, because obviously I know the plan was to obviously stop you from just going and having a fan-friendly fight, and it was more the fact of going, let's hold you back a bit, let's get you boxing off a jab and staying sort of mid to long range, and it's going to be a hard night. But to be fair, you stuck to the game plan and sort of showed levels. I probably wouldn't say your debut performance was perfect, because nobody's performance is going to be perfect, some things to learn from, but you showed a lot of great fundamentals that's there, probably that it's still been in the development stage as well. So I thought it was a really, really good debut.
Yeah, no, same, because I got the six rounds banked up, and that's going to set me up for my next fight. But I'm still going to be looking for stoppages and stuff like that, but as I said, I don't need to go looking for them. They're going to come in their own time, so just stay patient with it.
And sometimes find that right balance, obviously, in pro boxing. And I remember obviously an interview he done with Jay Quigley. It's obviously just been announced there the other day, he's fighting for the world title. I think he said he had like 7 or 8 stoppage wins, and then he was saying it actually done him more harm because it was harder to get fights. People wouldn't fight him and things like that. He didn't have his development. So then when he was coming into tougher fights, he didn't have that development to fall back on. So it's finding that nice balance. And I guess the good thing if they match you well, and if somebody's supposed to take you rounds and you stop them, happy days. They've done everything they can to get someone to force you rounds. But it's one of them things, like you're just going to be hungry and you're just going to want stoppages to show that you have the knockout power there.
Yeah, no, because this D6 rounders, that's, you know, compared to my last fight, and you got to take in mind, my fight in Dubai, it was an exhibition, and then before that, you know, the Ulster Elites was my last fight, so I think I did really well, stepping up to the occasion, a lot of pressure on, and I didn't even let the pressure get to me. I was enjoying every second of my debut, because I knew this only comes around once in a lifetime, so being stuck before the fight, riddled with anxiety or stuff like that, you know, it's gonna get in the way. Like, I was there and I was with Dee, and we were loving every second before the fight, and you know, I can look back and say it's a really good memory now, and I'm happy with that. And
it's definitely building it on as well. And you're obviously now back out in action on the 13th of November. So far on the card, there's obviously yourself, Conrad Cummings, Nick Campbell was obviously announced yesterday, and Mathew Fitzsimons. Obviously, Mark's plan just to keep you as busy as possible, get you as many development fights to build. Obviously, you're you know, because you haven't boxed in quite a while, probably amateur really competitively, is a plan to get you as many fights as possible as early on.
Yeah, Mark's got a good game plan in place for me, and how much fights he wants to get me a year, and when he's going to step up. I'm just a fighter, you know. I just fight whoever's in front of me, and this is professional boxing now. And back when I was an amateur, there would be times I was in Liverpool where I would have fought every month and stuff like that. But you can't be doing that anymore. I've got to just leave it in Mark's hands and let myself develop as he sees fit and as Dee sees fit. And in respect, like, I was watching the National Elites at the weekend, and that kind of put me down a wee bit, because obviously I'm comparing myself to all them. But now that come Monday, it just used it and it's made me more motivated, and to show that this professional boxing, you know, is where I'm going to develop most. Because I do think if I had stayed an amateur, I wouldn't be where I am now. Like, I am a far better boxer than what I was.
And I guess you're probably going to show a benchmark to some of them as well. Probably someone might look at your development and coming into pro boxing and going, I remember boxing him, or I was, you know, something was so competitive, I'll give this pro game a crack. So you could be like an ambassador sort of for amateur boxers to go, Colm Murphy was here and he loved to tear up, and now look at him and how he's developed into pro boxing. You know, you just don't know how boxing's going to shape, and say you could be the figurehead for years to come for boxing in Belfast.
Don't do what I did as an amateur, okay? You want to bring your brains back to it. I did take too much damage in my amateur career, but then again, you know, now you can look at my performance in the professional ranks, and you can see, like, you know, you can learn how to box. People like, even JP in the National Elites, when I was watching his fight, everyone thinks JP is just a slugger, and he went in and he boxed really well and got his first national title, so well chuffed for him.
And obviously one of your former amateur opponents made his debut in the Devonish on Saturday as well. Kane
Doyle. Yeah.
Kane Doyle made his debut in the Devonish as well. So I guess, you know, we're sort of, you've had that rivalry in the amateurs. You obviously have both now made your pro debuts. Kane obviously looked very well. You know, like I probably haven't seen anybody as ripped before making their debut. You know, as if he was getting ready for a massive fight somewhere, but he looked ripped, and he obviously looked impressive as well. So I guess, you know, you coming across from the amateur ranks are showing that it's okay to turn pro in boxing. You know, go and learn your development and obviously become a better fighter throughout it, you know, as well. Do you look at sort of the model that Mark's made with Nick? Obviously now Nick will be making his fourth fight, and he only made his debut in, was it April this year as well? So he's gotten 4 fights very, very quickly. You sort of look at that development and you go, is it any wonder why people call Mark a magic man? Because he can just get deals out anywhere.
Mark's the best manager, I think, in the whole UK, and I'm not the only one that said that, and he hasn't let me down at all. And there you go, you see Nick's got the BoxRec deal, and he's had all his fighters still fighting, everything, getting them matches made. So I'm looking forward to the next few years with Mark, because he's going to deliver.
Definitely is, and obviously just one final one then, obviously here in Glean, obviously the gym's buzzing. You'd obviously Owen fighting last weekend in the Devonish. Last night you'd obviously Lewis and Paddy announced in the Colm boxing show in the Ulster Hall in 4 weeks time. Obviously yourself coming out again. I think Dee was sort of saying last night in a post that everything's getting so busy because amateur boxing's opened up now again as well. It's the things he's relishing because he's building a massive success train for you all. What's it like to be in that gym at the moment? Obviously, I've watched Lewis and Paddy and Owen and stuff there sparring there this morning, getting rounds together. Is the gym just that much of a buzz at the moment?
I've been having a buzz since Glean, since the first 2 weeks I've been here, because everyone here has just been so accepting of me and really nice. You know, people just come up to me. We're all level-headed to each other, and that's good. There's really good chemistry with the team. And for the professionals especially, we are an undefeated stable. You have to give us credit where it's due, and you know, Dee's under pressure, but he's relishing in the pressure to keep this undefeated streak of ours going, and that's me. I think we're just going to keep building off each other's success here. I'm really looking forward to that announcement November 5th. I'll get down and support Lewis and Paddy. It's going to be a great night of boxing.
It's going to be carnage.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Owen, I'd mentioned obviously in an interview the other week as well. He obviously looks up to the likes of you and Connor. That Connor's had 2 fights as a pro, you've had 1, but he looks at you and obviously what he's done as an amateur, and he probably looks up to you and he learns from you. Is it nice things to hear when you're sort of starting your pro development that other guys in the stable that are more pro fights on you are sort of looking at you and going, you're a successful amateur and everything else. I think you'd only 16 amateur fights, so he looks to you for inspiration rather than you looking to him. So I guess that's good in a way that he's all learning from each other in different stages of careers.
Yeah, well, that was a nice surprise from Owen. That was unexpected, and to be compared with the likes of Connor and Lewis, because in my opinion they had far better amateur career than me. So yeah, buzzing for Owen, and always kept himself busy, and I would be the same as Owen. To be fair, I am motivated and inspired by my peers. So having this chemistry of all our team stable all in here and working towards each other, it motivates me, makes me do better and push myself to my limits. So yeah, because I want us to remain an undefeated stable, and I'm not going to let it side down, and I'm going to get the win November 13th, and we're all going to keep progressing and not messing.
Definitely. Well, look, we're obviously Colm, thank you once again for catching up with us. I'm sure we'll obviously get a catch up again in fight week in Europa. But I'm definitely obviously loving the fact that the confidence has come with the interviews and stuff as well. I know you'd sort of said in the Europa sort of, when you get a few more fights under your belt, you're going to start calling people out and stuff as well. So we're obviously looking forward to that development. Obviously nothing's going to be planned in any way, so I'm guessing in some stage in one of the interviews you're going to call someone out, but it's definitely been great to sort of watch your development as you're turning into a pro and probably maturing yourself at the same time. But I'm sure we're going to catch up again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stevie, for the opportunity, and yeah, looking forward to the next one, to be honest.
Definitely. But listen, thanks for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.